to talk to Gage.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another N-Gage video, and today we're going to have a bit of a discussion about the future of Subnautica. So, last week I put out my Subnautica is a masterpiece clear-cut review of the game, and it got me thinking while I was gathering footage and playing the game for that video, what do I want in a Subnautica sequel? So that got me researching the topic, and it turns out there's already a bunch of confirmations that it's already a thing. I didn't know this, but a ton of articles were talking about this job listing that apparently showed up on Unknown Worlds Entertainment's website, talking about a new game in the Subnautica universe. So maybe that's not Subnautica 3, maybe it's a spin-off, but I think it's safe to assume that there's a high chance it will be Subnautica 3. So in that article from NME, there was this quote. It said, in a tweet from April 7th, Unknown World said, "We're seeking a senior narrative designer to work with us to help shape the next game in the Subnautica universe." I was like, oh my gosh. I got so excited over that news. Since we likely still have a while before that game comes out, we have time to talk about what we want it to look like. Give some feedback, throw it out there. Who knows, maybe Unknown Worlds watch this video or watch other people's videos, and we can help shape the identity and future of this franchise. So in this video, we're going to talk about specifically the ideas that I personally have had in regards to a Subnautica 3 and what I personally would like to see in that. So with all that out of the way, let's get right into the video. First thing I want to talk about is Subnautica 3's story. So the thing is that the story could pick up from where Below Zero left off. I haven't finished that game in a while, or it's been a while since I did finish it for the first time. So from what I remember, it could continue Robin's story, which was the main protagonist of that game. However, I personally would probably play anything that has the Subnautica name attached to it. I would personally rather we leave her story and character to the side, and instead we focus on someone new and some new story. And I would like it to return the story approach to something closer to what the original had, with the more isolated feelings. I would just like to see this next game show another facet of this world to us that we haven't seen before. Just show us something new about it, explain something new, and make the lore a little bit deeper. I think that would be kind of cool. Now, if I were to get ambitious and just throw a random idea out there, just like, here's just a random thought that I had that maybe it'll make the game good or really bad, but here it is. My idea that I just thought of literally within like 5 seconds, I was like, oh, that could be kind of cool, is a story based heavily on researching the local wildlife, both flora and fauna, so it's like the core of the game. This could culminate in some kind of decision where, after getting to know two different animal species, you have to choose one or the other to save from extinction. So that's just kind of a rough framework. Just here's an idea that could be in the game. I think that'd be kind of cool. You kind of, learn about these species. They could be anything, and then, for some reason towards the end of the game, you are given the choice of what to save. So maybe it adds a little bit more decision making into the next game. So I think that'd be kind of cool. But you'll have to let me know down in the comments below what you think of my random idea. Is it cool? Is it good? Y'all let me know. So now let's talk about the gameplay. This is the best part right here. So let me just say off the bat, multiplayer will most likely be in the next Subnautica game. Now, I personally would not be too into, I personally probably wouldn't take advantage of that too much. I'd probably play single player for the most part. However, I think that would be awesome to try, and I think there could be so many cool things they could do with a Subnautica multiplayer. And I know that's something a lot of fans have wanted for a long time. It would be pretty cool. I can just imagine piloting a large vehicle like the Cyclops from the first game, and you and your friends can work together to pilot around. Maybe you can have the engine room, and then cafeteria, you have like a cook or something, or you could have all these different things you have to do to like maintain it. Maybe you have someone in the engine room like swapping out batteries so it keeps running, and then you got the pilot, and then maybe there's some kind of navigator. It'd be cool to just incorporate a lot of like cooperative gameplay into it. I think that'd be pretty cool. Can you imagine if they did that, getting attacked by a Leviathan, and you and your buddies are like, yo, get to starboard, quickly, go put out the fire, I got a pilot, there's a Leviathan. But get your guns up. Yo, I got this, I'll put out the fire. Everyone stay focused and we won't die. Yo, man, get to the engine room quick, we're gonna blow up here if you don't fix that thing. The thing's tearing into us. Okay, I'm done. I think it would just be pretty cool. Alright, this is why I don't go in public anymore. Let's rein it back in. Now, it's also important to note that this multiplayer would affect the vibe of the game and the atmosphere. The first Subnautica has such a great atmosphere, and if you put you and all your friends into the game, there's a good chance you won't be nearly as frightened or feel those same isolated feelings that you did in the first game, especially, but also even in Below Zero. Because I just think that the first one nailed that feeling so well, and I think it would really stink if it was just kind of completely gone in favor of just kind of like a crazy, wacky multiplayer experience. I think they should find a way around that. However, this is where I need to add a section in here to stress how important this game's single player also has to be. So if they did incorporate multiplayer, they would still have to take really good care of those who just want to play the game in single player. They should never sacrifice the people who play by themselves just for the multiplayer experience of the game. It should somehow work if you want to play it with other people and also play it with just yourself. Because I would hate for people to jump into the game and feel like it's not worth playing unless they have a bunch of friends to play it with. I think that would just kind of stink, and that would not be supporting the fans that enjoyed the first two games and the single player experiences of them. Because honestly, I think it'd be pretty cool if this was the scariest Subnautica game so far. And I just think that it might be a little more difficult if you try to do that with a multiplayer experience. But we'll talk about that a little more in a minute. So as far as the main mechanics of the game, to be honest, I don't really think they need to change that much or tweak that much to make it better, because I think the core of the game's crafting, gathering, and general surviving is already pretty good. I would say just give us more items to craft, make the base building maybe a bit more intuitive or larger, as in like you can make different things and maybe even bigger things more easily. Just give us more ways to interact with the world. And maybe the base building could be sort of a way to, add some more replayability to this game. I think that'd be pretty cool. Now let's talk a little bit about the world design. Now I have no doubt that Unknown Worlds will give us another stunning and wonderful alien world to discover in this game. So I only have a few things that I want to see implemented. So the first thing, to be honest, this is probably the biggest wish for me for a new Subnautica game, but I want to see the creatures be able to wander around the world a bit more. Can you imagine traversing the underwaters and never knowing for sure where a Leviathan class creature may be? This would totally make the game far more scary as a result. This may, as a side note, this may also be the answer to the lack of fear and isolation that multiplayer would bring to a new game. So if you're playing with your buddies, you don't know where anything is. So it would still keep that fear. A random Leviathan shows up and starts attacking your submarine, and I think it'd just be kind of cool. It'd still, have those adrenaline pumping moments like the first two games had. Next, I would like to see a bigger open world than the previous two games that we've gotten. I think this would really enhance the gameplay and also the idea of creatures wandering, because if the world is bigger, then it leaves more room for creatures to swim around and traverse. As a part of that, there probably need to be more areas that are deeper in the water than they have been. So maybe make it to where it just keeps going down like in the first one, and then as you go lower and lower, maybe you can get so low to where it's almost like the out of bounds in the first 2 games, where it's just complete darkness and then randomly a certain Leviathan will just spawn. Maybe it gets that dark, you know. I think that'd be pretty terrifying, to be honest with you, but this time add something that's like down there, you know, theoretically, just kind of in a lower area that looks sort of like that. I think that would be super cool. And the most terrifying thing, I would have such a hard time doing that, if I'm being honest, but it would be awesome. And one more thing, I believe that this bigger world has to have like one giant Leviathan. Like there should be one Leviathan, that the first living Leviathan that is like massive in scope, that you can find in the world, and it'll actually just swim around and wander. I think that would be awesome. It could almost be like the alien from Alien Isolation, or maybe Mr. X from Resident Evil 2, where it's like the big bad of the game. And maybe there could be some kind of core concept around the narrative or the gameplay surrounding this creature, but it could be something that wanders around, and when it... Sorry, it's my mom in the background. But it could be something that wanders around, and whenever you like hear it or you see it out in the distance, you're like, oh crap, you know, we gotta get out of here, boys. And there need to be some kind of defenses against something like that, so it doesn't just swallow you whole. Some way to divert it, get it away, you know, incorporate the flares like there was in the first games. And again, with the multiplayer idea, you could have people in the submarine and you'd be like, launch the flare. I think something like that. Well, I think that's all the ideas I have currently on this new game. You all have to let me know what your ideas are for a Subnautica 3 down in the comments below. Hit the like button if you liked the video. If not, I thank you for watching this long. Be sure to engage that subscribe button, and I'll see y'all in the next video. God bless.